What is happening, everybody? Hope you're all good. Today, we're going to be talking about pretty much gym training. So, anybody who's currently training at home, you might be able to get something out of this in terms of progression and stuff. But you're probably going to want to skip this one on episode 7 because I want to do this one. Somebody put in the Instagram post about training, going back to gym. What's the best training split? How should they go about it? So, that's what we're going to cover today on this episode. You're now listening to the Caffeine and Coaching Podcast by Ricky Cosgrove. We talk everything from my caffeine addiction to the fact that I coach frustrated men and women to lose weight, get into shape, and bulletproof their confidence without having to give up the foods they love. Sit back, take some notes, and I will catch you in today's episode. So, the first point that I'm going to cover is the best training split and the best training routine. Everybody's always asking for the best, most optimal training split. What's the best one to do? How many times per week do I have to train? And I'm going to be straight up with this one. The best one is the one that you can stick to for the longest. So, some people will start up a plan, or the gyms are going to open and they'll say, right, let's rock and roll. I'm going to get stuck in at it again. I'm going to go 5-6 times per week. But they're probably going to keep that up for 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks at a push. And then they're going to get sick of it and they're going to fall off again. So what you're actually better doing is going with the minimum effective dose. So if you can get in 3 times every week, if you can get in 4 times every week, I don't normally actually prescribe anybody more than kind of 4 times per week training, honestly, because it's anything above 4, you're kind of touching with territory where you're probably not going to get the 5th one in each and every week. You're doing too much, so you have to remember about your recovery as well, and especially if you're just starting out, or the fact that the gyms are opening and they haven't been open for, 6 months maybe? Can't really remember. It's been a hell of a long time anyway. But you have to factor in the importance of rest days as well at the same time. And that's where people kind of fall off the wagon and they forget about whenever it comes to their training routine. They think, I'm going to train every single day, I'm going to do this, that, and the other, and I'm just going to absolutely beast it. If you take a step back and you look at it, stress plus stress equals more stress. And if you don't actually give your body, time to relax and time to regenerate and recoup and refresh itself, one, you're not going to get the benefit out of the training sessions because you're going to be fatigued in the training sessions, so you're not going to get the most progress out of it. But 2, you're just adding more and more stress upon your body. You're going to get more sore, your recovery is going to go to shit, you're going to feel tired and lethargic. So it's a very fine balance, and it's like sitting on a seesaw and trying to get at the balance. You have to be able to work around it so that your training is optimal and is the best it can be, but also that you're factoring in the rest days there as well, so that you get optimal rest, you get enough nutrition or nutrients, you get enough sleep and recovery, so that those days that you do train, the quality of your training is actually higher. So you could throw it in there and say, right, I can schedule out to definitely train 6 days per week, and I'll have 1 day off. I'll train Monday to Saturday and I'll take a Sunday off, and then I'll go again. If you can physically get the time to do that, that's totally fine. However, you have to be able to balance the volume of your training sessions very, very nuanced. Like, it's a fine balance, so it is, because if you go in and absolutely smash yourself for 6 days in a row, it's not going to take very long for you to completely be burnt out, wrecked, tired. Recovery goes to shit, and then you can't recover for the next session. What happens if you're not recovered for the next session? The quality of your session goes down. So what I mean by that is, for instance, let's take squats. Say one of your sessions you're doing leg press, another one you're doing squats, maybe not the day after each other, but you maybe do lower body, upper body, lower body, whatever it may be. And on your leg press day, you're feeling a wee bit good, you progress your weights, you progress your reps, you absolutely smash it. You do your upper body day, you're a wee bit more tired there because of the big leg session, so you might not get the full benefit out of that upper body session. But then by the time it comes around to another lower body session where it's maybe a squat day, your squats are going to be affected because you're probably still sore, you're fatigued, your recovery's been shit from the leg press day, and because you're trying to cram so much into like those 6 days of training, your squats takes a hit. So then the next day after that also takes a hit, and it's just like a gradual decline in the quality of your training. So remember, quality over quantity. What you're better doing is maybe doing an upper body day off, lower body day off, upper body day off, lower body day off. That way you're having more rest and recovery in between those sessions, so that leg press day, you absolutely smash it, you beat your numbers, you either progress in weight or you progress in reps. Then you have a day off. Then you have your upper body day, because then your upper body is rested from the lower body day, and you had that day in between. But then you have another day off, and then a lower body day after that. So again, you've had the two kind of days to recover, and it's just a better, it's more optimal, and it's more strategic way of thinking of your training. So do not go back into the gyms thinking Billy Big Balls is going to go in and absolutely smash it 6 days per week, because you're probably going to buckle yourself. You're probably going to fall off after a couple of weeks, and then what happens is, if you give yourself an unrealistic target of say training 6 days per week, and then something comes up, you can put yourself down because of it. Because let's say, for instance, you're busy one week with work, or something else comes up and you only get 4 training sessions, then you put yourself down mentally because of that, because you, well, fuck, that was a useless week there, I didn't get in for those 2 sessions, oh my god, blah blah blah. And then it puts you in a negative mindset, so that then the next time the next week comes round, again you try to bust it again, and you're just adding stress onto it. So be very strategic whenever it comes to your training split, whenever it comes back round the gym's opening tomorrow, or whenever it comes round to you going back to the gym or starting the gym. Optimally, for a majority of people, if I'm going to give you sort of a random rough training split, what I tend to go for, and what I tend to enjoy, 3 times per week, you're looking at probably 3 full body sessions. Okay, so maybe a push, pull, and then a full body conditioning session or something like that. 4 days per week, you're probably looking at a full body push, full body pull with 2 rotations. So it'll be full body push, full body pull A, then full body push, full body pull B, and look at it that way. That way you've still got 3 days off. You've still got enough recovery time in there to make the training optimal. So I would normally shoot for 3 to 4 days training per week. Honestly, if I was to choose for everybody, especially just starting out at the gym or just going back whenever they open, would probably max you out at 3 days. Just max you out at 3 days, even if it was a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday, and just focus on recovery the rest of the week, because you are going to be fucking sore. You're not going to be able to walk. You're not going to be able to get off the toilet. Your chest is going to be sore. Your arms are going to be sore. Your back's going to be sore. Your legs going to be sore. Your arse is going to be sore, because it's like a whole new world again. It's a whole new stimulus in your body, and it's not used to it. It hasn't been used to it for a prolonged period of time. So I would probably say start back with 3 days per week, and then after maybe, I would even go 3 to 4 weeks, maybe transition into the 4 times per week, and just keep that 4 times per week then going forward. The importance of rest, again, make sure that is a key factor in especially these next few weeks, because you will be sore, as I said. So make sure that your sleep's on point, make sure your nutrition is on point, make sure that you're getting enough water, and even if it means setting like a reverse alarm. So what I mean by that is, we all know an alarm in the morning to get ourselves up. Most of us will either hit the snooze button a couple of times, or I know Emma does it, to be fair. She will have like a couple of alarms set. So let's say, for instance, 6:30, then another one set for 6:45, or like 6:50, another one at 7 o'clock, because she normally just hits it off so that another one is definitely going to go off and you don't accidentally turn it off. The way around that is to set a reverse alarm. So set one for nighttime. So if you know you have to get up for work the next day at a particular time, what you can do is, to make sure that you're getting enough sleep, is set a reverse alarm so that it goes off, for instance, at 9 p.m. Your alarm goes off 9 p.m. and it says start to get ready for bed. So if you have anything to get ready before you go to your bed, that's whenever you start getting that done. If you're going to plan your lunch for the next day, if you're planning breakfast, if you're getting the kids' lunch ready for school, if you're lifting clothes out, getting your gym bag ready, whatever it may be, that's whenever that first alarm goes off, that's when you start doing that stuff. Then your next alarm will go off whenever it's telling you to pretty much start getting sorted and getting to bed. And this sounds really simple and really stupid, and it's as if I'm trying to teach you how to suck eggs, but until you get into the rhythm and the routine of doing this, that reverse alarm can be very, very useful. Because you know yourself, I do it as well, where I'm sitting on the sofa at night time, I get lost in my phone or something stupid on Netflix. Next thing I look at my watch and there's 11 o'clock at night, 11:15. I'm like, holy shit, my alarm's set to go off at 5:30. So you get lost in these things whenever you don't have a structure to it. So that reverse alarm can get the ball rolling for you, even if you only have to do it for a week, 2 weeks. Some people will just like the routine of it and keep it on. But until you just get into that rhythm of getting used to going to bed at a decent time, getting used to turning the TV off at a certain time, etc. The focuses of training. So what I mean by this is the progression and not just going into the gym and just moving. That's better than doing nothing, don't get me wrong, but listen, if I've learned anything over this past couple of lockdowns is that if you're just going to go into the gym and just move, you might as well just do that from home. Grab yourself a set of resistance bands if you really want to go all out, resistance bands and a TRX, and just do a couple of exercises at home, because you can get great results from home. Look through my page. The results that's came in, obviously, over the past weeks and months have all been coming from home. So if you're going to make the effort to actually pack a gym bag, get ready for the gym, drive to the gym, pay your gym membership, go in to use the equipment, make sure you're using it properly. Make sure you're using it to the best of your ability and you're not just going in there, lifting a random weight, doing an exercise, setting it down, walking over to another random machine, sitting on it, doing a couple of reps, sitting on your phone for 10 minutes, getting off, not really sure what to do next, so I'll go to this machine, sitting on it, doing a couple of reps, rest for 5 minutes, do another couple of reps, and just kind of move around the place. And then this happens so much. I see it all the time, especially whenever I was in the gym most days, every day. Those people go in, they do that, then they leave. Don't get me wrong, they feel good about themselves, they've been to the gym, they've moved, that's totally fine, but I'm more so about getting results and getting a particular return for investment kind of thing. So I tend to think that, listen, if you're going to get up and go to the gym, you've probably got a goal, because you're not just going there just for the sake of going there. So why not make the most out of the time whilst you're there in order to reach that goal more effectively? So have a particular plan in place, know your training split, know what you're going in to do, know the exercises every single day which you're going in to execute, and make sure you're progressing on those exercises. So that's making the training more focused, so you know exactly what exercise you're doing, you know what weight and how many reps you done the last time you did it, and you know that you're going in today to try and beat those numbers. You're always trying to beat your last score, okay? So you look back at the squats, for instance. What did I do the last day I did squats? I done X amount of weight for X amount of sets at X amount of reps. Right, this week I either have to add more weight to the bar, or I have to fill my sets full of the rep range, or I need to do more reps than pretty much I did the last day, whatever it may be. But you have to make sure that you're continually progressing. And this also goes for home training. Home training can be a wee bit more difficult to track, because what you're better doing from home is going for time instead of reps, because you don't have a specific overload from bands and stuff like that. So you're not going to really fatigue yourself as much as you're going to do with overloading with weight in the gym. So what I tend to do for home-based programs is set for, let's say for instance, bent over bandit rows or something like that, would be maybe 45 seconds, as many reps as you can, something along those lines. And then it's just a matter of busting your arse to get better, but this principle stays the same. You should always be putting maximal effort in so that you're trying to get the most out of the time that you're using those bands, using that squat in the gym, whatever it may be. So progression is key. Know what you did the last day you went in, know what you're going to do today, and what you have to beat from the last day. Going back into gyms again, this is a big one as well. Make sure you, if you're going back to the gym and you're not just starting, make sure you set aside all the previous weights and previous exercises you did before and forget about what you were doing there, because you're going to be nowhere near as strong and you have to start from scratch again. What I would tend to say is go in for the first couple of sessions and just get used to the movements again. Use very minimal weight. Trust me, you will still be fucking sore, and you'll still elicit a hypertrophy response within your muscle. So please don't think that you're just going to go in and start throwing about the weights that you were doing before lockdown, whenever the last time you were in the gym. You're starting from scratch. Forget about everything. Log your numbers, which you're starting with now, and just focus on progressing those. I know it can be a little bit of a head fuck and a mind fuck because you're not as strong as what you used to be. You'll feel bad for it because you've wasted time, X, Y, Z, whatever it may be. But what you have to realise is everybody's in the same boat. You will get stronger pretty quickly again because it's muscle regeneration, it's muscle memory, all that weird and wonderful stuff that you don't really need to know about. But you will progress quicker than you did the first time. But you just have to be mindful of it so that, again, you don't buckle yourself, your recovery's good, and you're not overdoing it and overstressing your body. So that one is progression. Make sure you're progressing each and every session. How long to do the same routine for? This is a big one that gets brought up quite a lot. Am I just doing the same 4-day split every single week? And the answer should be yes. I know that's not the most sexy thing that you want to hear, and everybody likes to be mentally stimulated. Whenever it comes to the training, they like to switch things up and they like to switch things around and do something new. And you've probably been to classes and groups before which are always doing something fancy and something new every session. The sad matter of fact is that that's not optimal. What's measured can be managed. What's managed can be manipulated. So what I mean by that is if you're continually switching up your exercises, fiddling around with other random stuff, how are you physically supposed to track your progression? You can't. Yes, you can still get results, but it's not as optimal. Again, it comes back to if you're going to spend the time and actually going to the gym, taking that time out of your day to travel, get ready, go to the gym, travel home, get showered, why not make the most out of those 45 minutes which you're in the gym? You know, instead of just jumping around like a nut job, not really knowing what to do, where to go, and just looking for something fresh and new. Now, the most optimal thing for you to do is to get a training split, stick with it, honestly. And I'm not just saying this, the longer the better. The longer you can stick to the same routine, the better results you're going to recoup from it. Okay? The longer you can stick to it, the better results you're going to get because you're going to be able to track it. You're going to be able to see the numbers. You're going to be able to see the progression, and you're going to know what you're doing each and every session which you go into the gym. Now, yes, I know that the exercises might get repetitive and you're kind of like, oh my God, I'm getting in the day again to do bench press, blah, blah, blah. It's the same exercises every few days or whatever. But you have to step away from that and stop looking at the exercise, but look at the numbers which you got the last time you did that exercise. Okay, so your focus should be on progression. Whenever you focus away from the exercise itself and focus on the numbers which you're getting and recording each and every session, that's whenever the interest comes in, because that's where you should be thinking about getting better. You want to get better over time. You want to get stronger. You want to get faster. You want to gain more muscle, whatever it is. And that comes from being able to track those numbers. So bench press, for instance, let's say the last session you were in, you done 60 kg for 10 reps, 4 sets. This session you go in, you do 60 kg, 4 sets, 12 reps. You've just progressed. You've just got better. Next session you go in, you might up the weight, 65 kg, 4 sets, maybe 8 to 10 reps. Awesome. Next session you go in, you look at your log again, you say, right, last day I done 65 kg, was hitting 8 to 10 reps. I'm going to beat that this day. That's where the focus comes in. So you go, same exercise again, might be a little bit boring, but you're trying to switch that mindset into progression and saying, right, happy days, I'm doing bench press again today. I'm going to have an opportunity to beat those numbers. I'm going to make sure that I get better today. And then whenever you look at that, 65 kg, 8 to 10 reps, you go in the next day, 65 kg, 10 to 12 reps, you're getting better over time. You can't do that if you're continually switching up exercises, switching up routines, and just going in and doing something off the whim. Hopefully that makes sense. So minimally, I would say to stick to the same routine for 3 months, 90 days. You have no reason why you should be switching things up before then, unless you get injured, unless you physically really detest an exercise, because there can always be something else that's put in its place. But stop focusing so much on the exercise itself and focus more on the progression. So focus on the numbers that you're getting. If you're not recording those numbers, that's why it gets repetitive, because you're just going in and kind of doing the same thing over again. You're getting bored of it. Make sure you're logging your training. Make sure you have down how much weight you lifted, how many reps you did, how many sets you did, so that you know and you can manage the progression from there. So minimum 3 months. Maximum, you can milk out a training split for 6 to 12 months, to be honest. You can switch a couple of things up after about 6 months or so and freshen it up a wee tiny bit, but honestly, minimum 3 months. You go into the gym, just starting back here now, whenever it opens, what, as I said, I do is go for about 3 times per week, full body, get you back into the rhythm of things for a couple of weeks, then get a training split based on 3 to 4 days, which is broken down more in the progression side of things, and stick with that for the next 3 months. Beat those numbers. Make sure you're getting stronger, and trust me, anybody listening to this now, do this, and in 3 months' time, come back and drop me a message and let me know how much progression you've had on your bench press, how much progression you've had on your squat, how much progression you've had on your freaking lat pull down or your pull-ups or something, whatever it may be. Let me know in 3 months' time, because I guarantee you that the weight that you're using will go up, you'll get more reps, and your body will look a lot better for it. I've done numerous photo shoots. I've got people ready for photo shoots. I've trained for 10 odd years, and I can honestly tell you now, 1, 2, 3, 4, I've probably done about 5 or 6 training routines in the past 10 years. Like, that's it. That's less than 1 per year. The last one I sort of stuck to was like a push-pull legs upper lower, so I was training 5 days per week. Now I'm going to be breaking that down into 4 times per week, but about 6 training splits I've had in the past 10 years. So I'm not just saying this. This is how you progress. This is how you get better. Then the last one is the benefits of resistance training. Listen, we all know these already. Well, we should. If we don't, I'll tell you about it now. So different benefits: bone density, helps with osteoporosis later in life. Obviously, increase muscle mass, so it'll increase your metabolism. What that means is your resting metabolic rate will be raised, so you'll burn more calories whilst that rest. This is where you'll find somebody with quite a bit of muscle can eat quite a bit more food than somebody who doesn't have as much muscle and still not gain fat, where the person with not too much muscle will eat the same amount of food and tend to gain fat. And that's just simply because the resting metabolic rate is lower. Ladies, this also applies to you. So the more lean tissue, again, you're not going to look manly. You're not going to get the bodybuilder look unless you're jabbing yourself in the arse with testosterone or whatever. But the more lean tissue and the stronger you can get, the higher you can take those calories, and the better shape you'll look, because you'll be more toned and have a better shape to you. But also, the more food you're going to be able to eat and stay in shape long term. So that's the sort of benefits to resistance training as opposed to just doing cardio. And that's probably, I think, everything sort of covered with training. To go over it once again, best training split is the one you can stick to the best and the one that you enjoy. So If you can definitely get 3 sessions per week, get a 3-day training split. If you can definitely get 4, get 4. Probably not going to recommend anybody do more than 4 training sessions, especially at the gym. If you're training from home, you could probably get away with 5-6 sessions because you're not overloading with that stimulus of the weight and the resistance. But if you're solely training from the gym, I would say probably cap it at 4 and focus more around your recovery and stuff like that. So then that moves into the next one, is the importance of rest days and recovery days, making sure your nutrition's on point, make sure you're getting enough water, make sure your sleep's on point, and if you have to, set that reverse alarm. Focuses of training then is progression and not moving, not just moving. So make sure your progression is on point. Make sure you're logging absolutely everything. Every exercise you do, every weight that you lift, every rep that you do must be recorded somewhere, whether it's old school, writing it down on a piece of paper and pen, or whether you have, like I've got an app for my clients, which they just have to log into the app. All their training's there for them. They're told what to do, and they just have to type in the numbers that they do, and it automatically logs for them, nice and easy. So whether it's using an app like that, or whether it's using an old school piece of paper and a pen, which I know many people like to do anyway, and just writing everything down so that the next time you go in, you can look back at that, see what you did the last time, and know where you need to progress and where you need to push yourself to move forward. How long should you do a training split? Minimum 3 months. Longest, probably 6 months before I would change something up. If somebody wants to change it after 3, then that's fine. You can sort of jig things around a wee bit, even if it's just maneuver and accessory exercises and just keeping the main lifts the same. But I would say for the next couple of weeks, if you're just going into the gym, or for the first couple of weeks that you're just starting the gym, go for full body split 2 to 3 times per week for 2 to 3 weeks. Then get maybe a 3 or 4 day training split and keep that for about 3 months. And then benefits of resistance training, which we know about: bone density, osteoporosis, muscle mass, increased metabolism, all that good stuff. Resistance training, you just get more bang for your buck pretty much. Hopefully that's useful. It was brought up, as I said, on one of the Instagram things, was just to cover training and getting back into training and the things that you should be focusing on with gym-based training and that. If you have any more suggestions for the podcast, just drop me a little message. I'll be happy to cover them on here. If you're still listening to this, make sure you're subscribed. If you're watching it on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you're subscribed on there too, or follow it. I'm not really sure what you have to do. And if you're listening, just take a screenshot, please, of you listening to it. Post it to your Instagram for me. Give me a wee quick tag in it. It just helps me out, and it helps more people see the podcast. And in you doing that, more people will see it, and it's you also helping other people out, because then they'll be able to listen on it as well. So massive thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next episode, and if you can't be good at it.